Digestive issues and stomach discomfort, something that all of us deal with occasionally. But when it occurs more often than not, it is a sign that something is not normal. Dr. Christina Captain is the lead practitioner with the Sarasota Center for Acupuncture and Nutrition. She explains how natural medicine can help. Great to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be back.
What type of symptoms are we talking about?
Oh my goodness, anything, right? So nausea, bloating, pain, acid reflux, GERD, diarrhea, constipation. I mean, I like to joke around and say the country's split into two groups: people who are have diarrhea and people who are constipated.
I mean, that's probably a fair statement. So it's one thing to have it happen occasionally, but when it's day after day after day, how do you find an underlying cause?
So first of all, what I like to distinguish there is, does it interfere with your daily activities? Does it wake you up out of bed because you have to have diarrhea? Are you in pain? Are you bloated so much that you call yourself pregnant? Whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. You just feel that pregnant, and it can happen from one minute to the next, it seems. So those are food sensitivities, because that's another symptom. The other symptom is flatulence or farts that are so bad that, you know, wallpaper's melting off, eyebrows are burning, singeing, you know, her partners are like, whoa, you know, running from the room. So those are major symptoms. Okay, so how do we figure it out?
And is it always food? You said food sensitivities. Does this usually go back to what we're taking down?
Well, sometimes it does. I mean, food is always medicine, right? So whether you're putting bad stuff in, it's like a car. If you want a Ferrari, are you going to put regular gas in? Probably not, right? If you do, you're really something's wrong with you, right? There's something that's disturbing about you. Anyway, so we want to talk about food, but really this is about how is your digestive system working and why is it not working, right? So there's many different things that we can think about for that. Is it because you have an overgrowth of bacteria? Sometimes in the large intestine, sometimes in the small intestine, called SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. That's where the beneficial bacteria are so low and the non-beneficial bacteria are so high, they can cause all these problems. Do you have an overgrowth of yeast? Is a virus colonized in your body, a pathogen, a parasite? Or does it belong in the category of digestive organs? Is your stomach not producing enough acid, seeming like it's producing too much? Or having GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, which is that food coming up actually? Do you have a bacteria called H. pylori in your stomach? Again, going back to supportive, the stomach not working well. Is it your pancreas not working well, right? It's not secreting enough enzymes, amylase and lipase, called pancreatic insufficiency. That doesn't have to be treated with Creon, pharmaceutical drug that's extremely expensive. It can be treated once identified with pancreatic enzymes, which is what Creon is.
Got it. So you just put out this huge list of things it could be.
Right.
When you go to narrow it down, does it start with blood work?
No,
where do we start?
So here we start with a poop test, a stool test.
Okay.
Right? So we take a stool sample. We don't take it. You obviously provide it at home. This is all done in the privacy of your own bathroom.
Goes off to the lab.
Goes off to the lab, comes back with a report that tells me all the things I just told you.
Wow.
Tells me, do you have an overgrowth of bacteria? Do you have an imbalance in your beneficial and non-beneficial bacteria? It's called dysbiosis. Do you have H. pylori causing pain? Is your pancreas not working? Is your liver and gallbladder not working together? And maybe you don't have a gallbladder. Sometimes livers can, you know, really work on that creation of bile to digest fat easily. Sometimes they need that storage capacity of the gallbladder. So when that gallbladder is missing, sometimes we need to promote support to the liver. Give it some ox bile, give it some bile to help digest foods. There's so many different ways we can work, and all with nutritional supplementation, no pharmaceutical drugs, and of course modalities such as acupuncture, bio-ATP frequency, all kinds of different things that we use at the Sarasota Center.
And the difference from that whole list of symptoms between how Western medicine would go is that I assume that's where you end up getting prescribed some type of pharmaceutical drug.
Mostly. I find now that, you know, a lot of specialty physicians, gastroenterologists are getting into this sort of functional testing because it shows them an easier way and a more natural way to help their patients. But in traditional and conventional medicine, it is mostly prescription. Once we rule out dangerous, life-threatening issues like cancer, perforations, you know, these kinds of things, once we rule that out, then basically sometimes patients are like, well, you're still in pain, or you're still having trouble, you still have diarrhea, you still have this. You're just on your own. This is what's going to happen. One of the other things I want to mention, though, is constipation. Constipation can be such a major issue, and I found that none of the things I just mentioned sometimes are the cause. It relates back to, many times, anxiety. And anxiety can either make you have too many bowel movements and have diarrhea, or can make you just not be able to go. And so I have found in the last 5 to 10 years more and more people coming in with anxiety issues, and one of the major side effects is that they regulate their gastrointestinal system, because once the anxiety is reduced by all the treatments we do at the center,
right,
it really helps them.
Which really makes sense if you think about it, because if your stomach is clenched and you're stressed all day long, whether you know it or not,
exactly,
it impacts everything. So it sounds like the takeaway is you don't have to live with these symptoms.
Nope.
There are things you can do, and natural medicine is certainly designed to get to the root cause. For more information so that you don't suffer with abdominal and digestive discomfort, you can go to scansrq.com.